Hey, Chris.
Hey, Dan.
Look at us.
Look at us.
The Chris and Dan podcast back together. Just the two of us. How do you like that?
We're starting another week off in a row of you just out of nowhere singing. I'm excited to see where this takes us in this episode.
That was amazing last week. If you haven't caught that one, go back, listen to the first 5 minutes of last week's episode. It was incredible. But here we are, just you and I this week. Didi's spending some time at Disneyland. He's trying to catch up with our buddy Jeff, a record-breaking buddy Jeff from last week. Again, another reason to go back and listen to last week's episode. So just you and I here today, but we've done this a time or two for a number of years, and we've got it all under control at the table here today. So I've got a question for you this week, my friend. If I could grant you a lifetime pass to one type of festival, I wonder what that might be for you. And I want you to think of it this way: a festival of something that's consumable and edible, right? So taking out music festival, things like that. Something that you can actually go around, eat, consume. I will give you one lifetime pass to any one of these types of festivals anywhere in the world, anytime you want to go. What would that product, what would that festival be? And while I give you a minute to think about it, I'll tell you what mine is. This is fresh off of a beer festival that I was at this past weekend, and that's the obvious answer for me, right? However, thinking long term, right? Not every beer festival is great, okay? And you don't go to a beer festival and casually drink. It just doesn't usually work out that way.
Even though they're kind of like, I feel like when they design them, they kind of design it in a way that like gives you that opportunity.
Yes. The opportunity
but it never
is
ends
there.
Up that way.
No one takes it that way. You're absolutely right. So I'm thinking long term here. So I'm going to go with a different answer for the sake of this discussion. And I'll tell you what pass I want the unlimited lifetime pass to. Give me a taco festival. Give me the lifetime pass to a taco festival. And let me tell you why. Because the diversity of the taco, right? And because you don't have many people can make tacos, but they're all different in one way or another, whether it's the way that the protein is marinated or the sauce or the toppings, anything that goes into it. That could be the shell. There's always a variety with tacos, right? You've got beef, you've got pork, you've got chicken, you've got fish, you have dessert tacos. And you just, at a taco festival, I've been to one of these, you just having them one at a time. So you could have a lot, right? You could actually have a lot, consume a lot of tacos, not feel like absolute hell at the end of this. So I think for a lifetime at this point in my life, give me a lifetime pass to any and every taco festival that there is. So that's how I came up with that answer. I'm curious what that would be for you.
Yeah, man. Well, you're speaking my language.
I thought you might like that one.
Like anything Mexican food, I am totally down with. I did initially, when you first said that, initially my brain went to beer festival, but you make a good point. Like, I can't do that all the time.
Right. Exactly.
Like I'm going to regret that being the one pass pretty quickly, I feel. And then I thought like, well, everybody knows I love burritos. I've never heard of a burrito festival before. Right. If those do exist, somebody let me know because it sounds delightful.
Right. Burrito festival.
But one type of festival that I have been to that I anticipate with great joy every year is a rib festival.
Oh,
for
of course.
A lot of the same reasons that you said, Dan. Like you have your protein sources, but man, they're prepared slightly different or vastly different based on the vendor that you show up to. So like the Rib Fest here in Pittsburgh is pretty renowned. It's a big deal, but it's like 3 days, I think.
Yeah, 3-4 days, 3.5 days. Yeah,
It's a
something like
long
that.
holiday weekend, and that's not by any means enough time to try all of the stuff that you would want to try. So at the end of that Rib Festival, you're always left wanting more. And so that makes me think, well, then I should get this lifetime pass to any Rib Festival so that I can have more.
Right. Ooh, man, what a great answer. You almost got me second guessing mine.
No,
I love
you get tacos, and then I'll be your plus one, and then
we
you
can be,
mine.
there we go.
Yeah.
I love it.
People
I love
on
it.
people.
Oh, I love a good Rib Fest. Yeah, the one here is great. Oh man, a lifetime unlimited pass to Rib Fests everywhere and anywhere.
Dude, that's like, you know how like people in retirement have like these different ways they want to travel around the country or around the world? Like that's a retirement plan.
That's it.
Yeah. Like just follow different Rib Festivals around the country. That's the way to do it.
It's making me like rethink my entire life now. Yeah, it's time to change goals.
Yeah.
That's how to live.
That's a good one, man. I'll be interested to see if Didi has a festival. I think he's just going to pick Coachella, even though it's not allowed.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. He would just break all the rules and pick that. But yeah, we'll see. He could have an interesting answer. We'll see. We'll follow up with him next week. Well, welcome all to the Brunch Breakdown. Chris and Dan here, formerly of the Chris and Dan podcast, but both coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we got some good topics to go over here today.
Oh yeah.
Chris, first we're going to dive into a topic suggested by our missing co-host, Daniel Dudley. And he wanted us to discuss something that works for both Chris and I, where we've lived in different cities outside of Western Pennsylvania. And he wants us to discuss what we would like from those places we used to live and wish they were in Pittsburgh. So we're going to get into that. We're going to, ironically enough, speaking of tacos, we're going to talk tacos in toppings. That fit in perfectly. Yeah. Unplanned completely. I'm reading it going, wait a minute. Should have themed this out better. But we're going to be talking tacos and taco toppings specifically. And then we've got some very unique Brunch Court to go over today. And then, of course, we're going to discuss beer. I did mention that I was at Beer Fest over the weekend, so I do have some very fun things to talk about regarding that. Music and much, much more. But, of course, before we dive into that, Dan, throw it to Dan. Where can you find the Brunch Breakdown? Anywhere, people. We've been telling you that for 135 episodes, something like that now. You can find the Brunch Breakdown anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Google, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Odyssey, Good Pods. Find us there. Find us everywhere. Brand new episodes come your way every Wednesday. Make sure you're hitting follow, hitting subscribe, so that episode comes to you as soon as it's ready. Take it on the go. We've got full video episodes as well, airing on our YouTube and our Facebook pages. They premiere at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Of course, you can go back, check those out anytime on demand you want to watch those. We're everywhere on social media. Just find us at Brunch Breakdown, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Triller, TikTok. We're there. I'm telling you, people, we're there. Find us on social media. Follow us. We follow you back. And of course, we give you what we're listening to each and every week. We put it into a playlist. We give it to you on Spotify, called The Sounds of Brunch, exclusively on Spotify. That gets updated every Friday whenever Dan has some time to do it. It gets updated. Check it out on Friday. Simply search Sounds of Brunch on Spotify.
Nice job, Dan.
Thanks. Whew. We don't often give Didi credit, but I gotta give him a little credit. I'm a little winded. Right now. So I'm going to throw it over to you. We're going to start what we do every episode, getting some things off our chest.
Amen.
So, Chris, get something off your chest today.
I would love to. Thank you for this opportunity, Dan. So I want to talk about something that I've been a part of, and now I think it's really, really stupid.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. You ever been in something like so deep that you don't realize like how it looks to other people, and then eventually you find yourself later in life pulled away from that thing? You're like, oh, this is awful. I've like really gotten away from I've really gotten away from spending a lot of time on social media in general, but like the sports fan thing of where you tweet constantly during a sporting event. I've gotten away from that. I've gotten away from also just reading what people have to say during a sporting event because I don't care and it just makes you mad. But like there's this thing that happens when you're a fan of a certain team. It seems to happen for every team everywhere. And that like if your team loses, then the fan base breaks in two, right? And one side of the fan base goes ultra negative and just wants to fire everybody. And the other side of the fan base is like putting out this like, yeah, I'm upset we lost, but, and then like trying to back up reasons why you should still continue to support the team and watch the team. And like, they're both so unbelievably stupid because you're not going to change anybody's mind. And also nobody's going to stop watching. So you don't need to go and put all that effort and energy into convincing people to still watch. But like what I'm noticing now is that since I'm not in the mix of it when it's happening, like I'll go on social media the next day and open up Twitter and like the For You thing is now all of these tweets that are 12 to 16 hours old.
Right.
And I'm seeing it. Now I'm seeing it. I'm pulled back from it. And I'm like, oh my God. When you just get all these tweets out of context, you're like, this is embarrassing. Like these people are spending so much time of their life just throwing stuff into the void, thinking that it's impacting as people, but it's not. It's just not. You don't have to have like a postmortem every single time your team loses a game, whether it be a big game, an inconsequential game, or anything in between. I really like, I don't know what I can do about it, but I really want people to make more of their time than do that because I used to do it. And now I'm seeing how much time I wasted.
Well said, my friend. It's weird. I get a little bit of that too, where I'll check Time Hop every day and tweets will be there from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And it was like that in a game that I'm like, what am I tweeting about? What game was this? Did this game matter? Why was I tweeting 8 times during the course of the game?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I know it's so much.
Yeah.
It's so much. Why do you waste the thought, the time, the effort to do that constantly during a course of a game or something like that, where maybe there needs to be like Elon Musk hasn't exactly run Twitter anywhere positively, but maybe there needs to be like a little AI check going on there. Like, hey, this is the 3rd time you've tweeted this hour. Maybe take a break.
Yeah.
Or something. Maybe obviously they're not going to want people to tweet less, but you know what? You should. That's just the bottom line. You should.
Yeah. It's just, it's like, and it happens like, so I saw that this morning about a game that happened last night. And then like, all I can think about is like extrapolate that across an entire season of any sport. That is so much time you're wasting.
Mm-hmm.
We got to fix this. I think this is the biggest problem in America in 2023, Dan.
Oof, bold statement. There he is saying it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a problem. Let's fix it.
Let's fix it.
Start by tweeting at Brunch Breakdown.
Yeah, that's right. What's on your mind, Dan?
Chris, we know Dee Dee's been going through some, and everybody in the state of California has been going through some really difficult struggles in terms of the weather over there. He's used that on a chess segment himself. But we're not here to talk about them. We're not here to talk about him. We've had a record-setting mild winter on the East Coast.
So TD's not here. Are we going to brag? Is that what's going to happen?
Maybe a little bit. Specifically in Western Pennsylvania, like record-setting mild, like crazy. It's hard to believe that we're into March. Because it's felt like March for a long time, actually. But you know what I can't stand is these people who keep wishing and hoping for snow and lots of snow. And like, hey, if it was frigid cold like it is every other winter, where what highs are in the 20s, lows in the single digits, like it's usually like I get that, right? Because frigid, freezing cold with just gray skies, it like that sucks. That's brutal. Snow, at least it looks nice. It sucks to drive in, but it can at least look nice when it's on the ground and it's so cold out that it's not melting, and it's at least something a little bit different. But y'all, we are seeing sun here. Okay, we got highs in the 50s. You know, it's been nice, like nice.
Nice.
Okay, you want to ski, go on a ski trip. This isn't Colorado, right? It's just not for that. Head to a mountain somewhere. I am taking this in, and I'm very grateful for this mild winter that we've had so far. Keyword so far, because we're not out of it until we get to May, pretty much, as we've learned on the East Coast. So give me more of this mild winter. We don't get it very often. We don't catch breaks like this. And friends, spring isn't too far away, and I can't wait to just roll into it and be like, what happened to winter? So please stop hoping and wishing for the snow. We're done. We're done with it. We're done with it until November.
Whoever's doing that, like you're not allowed to do that once it gets to March.
That's it. That's a good rule.
Yeah, just shut up about it once March 1 rolls around.
Because I've coworkers constantly. Oh man, I wish it would be snowing. Get out of here with
That's very strange. That's very strange. I know. I mean, and we're even friends with people who like prefer the cold. And to be honest with you, like,
yeah,
I don't hate the cold. I really don't. But like, come on. If you can get a winter where the sun shines here, just like shut up. Just shut up about it. And once March rolls around, everybody's ready for St. Patrick's Day and spring and warm weather. So just shut up.
Precisely my point. So take the L this year. Let us have this one. I'm sure next winter will be the worst on record.
Probably.
And you'll get your wish then. So please just stop complaining.
Well said.
Yeah. So thanks. Well, of course, this leads us right into Brews Day. Chris, what are you sipping on this week, my friend?
Yes, sir. I have another one here from Untitled Art. And
strong.
Yeah, this was delightful. Had it earlier today. Kiwi Y80 Juice Drops IPA. Let's see if I can get that in focus for
look at that can.
All of y'all watching the episode. Yeah, the can is awesome. And dude, this like it's Juice Drops IPA. It literally tastes like they took a kiwi, like cut it in half and just squeezed, to use a phrase Dan likes to say, squeeze that son bitch in this can. And that's what you're drinking. It is unbelievably kiwi-y, if that's
kiwi.
Kiwi. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like it tastes exactly like kiwi. Like it and kiwi has that like tartness that like if you eat a kiwi, sometimes it's actually like I'll eat kiwi sometimes, it'll be so tart that it'll actually be like it'll almost make my throat like almost feel like it's like dry, you know, it's like so tart as you eat it. This is quite tart, but it's not so tart that it's unpalatable. Like I've had some it almost borders on like the territory of a sour in that way. And I've had some sours that like I enjoy them, but I drink them and I'm like, I couldn't have more than one of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is similar from an IPA standpoint. So if you want just a single beer to enjoy on like a nice weekend day like we had today felt like spring might be here sooner rather than later. It was perfectly timed. And I got one more of these in my fridge and I got to save it for a good day.
Wow. I'm glad you brought that to the table. And that's interesting that you don't find kiwi in beer very often. Yeah. And I don't know if I know the answer for why. Even in sours, you bring up a good point there with sours, that I don't know if it's access to kiwi, the price, or if it's just not popular, because I feel like it's in seltzers quite a bit, strawberry kiwi, that type of thing. But in an IPA is fascinating.
Yeah.
And of all people to put faith in, Untitled Art absolutely would be the one.
Well, where better than the great state of Wisconsin to experiment with kiwi here?
Yeah, right. Makes a lot of sense.
Naturally.
Makes a lot of sense. I love that. Oh, excellent. Excellent beer to the table today. So I mentioned I was at a beer fest this past weekend, and that's why I don't have a beer today, because I was at a beer fest. But more importantly, Chris, I've been on, we've talked about Untapped, right? It's the app where you can look up beers, rate beers, check them in, etc. I love it. I have over 1,000 beers checked in onto this app.
Damn.
Yeah, a lot of beers. And you know, that ranges from samplers to half pours, full pours, could be any size, but 1,000 different beers, right? I have never rated a beer a 5. You can rank them incrementally on quarter points, right? So 1, 1.25, 1.5, 1.752, all the way up to 5. I have never rated a beer a 5 until this weekend.
No shit.
I have had it. I have had the perfect beer.
The one.
The one. I'll tell you a little bit about this beer festival. It was called Drink the Cookie Table Dose. And so, yes, it's all like dessert style beers.
Oh, that's got Dan written all over.
Oh my goodness. They might as well put my name up on the marquee. Brought to you by Steel City Dan.
Yeah,
brought
sponsored.
To you 2 and 4 Steel City Dan. Amazing. An incredible, all the beers were really incredible. I got to give all these breweries a lot of credit. Some of them local, some of them not. And third table in, there's this brewery, Ill Will Brewing Company. Never really heard of them. They're out of Columbiana, Ohio, okay, which is about 20 minutes south of Youngstown, about an hour-ish from Pittsburgh, depending on where you're driving from. These people brought some of the best beer I have ever had in my life, including the Adversarial, which is it's a pastry stout. I guess you could call it a stout. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a stout. They really don't label it a type of beer. They call it other because it's if you were going to combine like a milkshake IPA and a stout. So it's very creamy. And the style is based off of the Buckeye, which is like a chocolate covered peanut butter ball.
Yeah, those are good.
They're very good, right? And so this baby was thick, chocolatey, peanut buttery, just the right amount of sweet. I have never quite had a reaction the way I did when I took a sip of this beer. And the owners were not that far from where I was standing, and I didn't know that where they were. And I had this audible and facial reaction. And the woman came up to me and she goes, "That is what we're looking for. Thank you." I said, "No, thank you."
Did you tell them about your 1,000 beers and your first 5-star review?
Yeah. Yes. And that was
awesome.
very exciting because they've only been open for about a year, they said.
Oh, wow.
Never heard of this place. There's got to be
Can I be honest with you? Columbiana sounds like a fake town.
It does. It kind of does, right? It's like, you're where and why? Yeah. She's like, "Oh, no, you got to come out. There's like a winery there and a distillery, so you can kind of make a day out of it. So it's not like you don't have to come out an hour just for this brewery because it's a made-up town."
Well, sounds like you would now.
So. No, now I absolutely will.
Yeah.
And they had a number of other beers that were just as good. They're all kind of like ice cream style beers. Again, I don't want to call them stouts because they're not heavy. They're not hoppy enough to be IPAs. They had one that was like a lemon bar. They had one that was root beer float. They had one that was a shamrock shake, mint, chocolate, I mean, incredible. It's like,
Damn.
it tasted, honestly, Chris, it tasted more like an alcoholic milkshake. You had me convinced that I was drinking an alcoholic milkshake.
Okay, so now I can kind of picture it because I've had alcoholic milkshakes before.
That's
They're
the best way for
delightful.
me to that's the best way for me to describe it, rather than telling you the style of beer. It's an alcoholic milkshake, but it is actually brewed as a beer with all the ingredients, steps necessary. And they were getting a lot of positive reaction. And I wanted to make it clear, part of my story here, third table in, not 13th table in, not 30th table in.
I was going to ask, and then I heard you say third table. So I was like, all right, that's early on. Because that was part of the thing I was going to say. If it's your first 5-star review, you've had this many beers. Was Dan tanked? Was Dan hammered? And it was just like, it happened.
Right. And I look at my Untappd the next day and go, well, I guess it was the best beer I've ever had. Yeah, third table in, probably fourth beer, and just mind blowing. I am so excited to go to this brewery. They keep 6 of these type of beers on tap at all times.
Nice.
And so I can't wait to go. Ill Will Brewing. Shouts out to you, my friends. I cannot wait to come visit soon. And that Buckeye chocolate peanut butter was incredible.
Can you, do they, is it canned or anything like that? Can you bring it home?
So it's not canned. They're not doing cans yet.
Okay.
Which was a little heartbreaking to hear, but they are doing growler and crowler fills. And so you betcha we'll be going there loaded up, ready to get filled up when we go, until they do start canning. I'm sure that's going to happen in the near future, but they're not here yet.
Nice. All right. Well, you have an option. That's good.
Oh yeah. So an incredible beer that I just had to share with you.
Congratulations. I feel like I got to partially experience it with you, Dan. What a moment.
Yeah, my first 5-star recruit, and they've committed, and it's just an incredible
it changes the program, man. Once you get that first one, then, you know, it's a game changer.
It is. This is a very exciting day. So cheers to them.
Cheers
to you. Cheers to everybody out there listening.
Gotta love it. A Brews Day first, a 5-star Brews Day.
Special stuff. All right, Chris, let's dive into the main course here. Let's go with this topic that Daniel Dudley threw our way.
Mm-hmm.
He referenced that both of us have lived outside of Pittsburgh, other than college, not counting college, that you lived on the West Coast. I've kind of lived in the South a bit. And he said, what from those towns do you wish was in Pittsburgh, where we live now? So, Chris, you were in Oregon for some time. So that's the majority of where your thought process is going to be coming from. For me, it was Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We've both spent a lot of time in Ohio for school and non-school related.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be curious if any of your answers come from that. I kind of doubt it, but let's, I'm curious as to what you think you wish was in Pittsburgh from somewhere you lived previously.
Yeah, man, it's a funny question, because the vast majority of the time, so if we take out college, because college, we were both in Kent, Ohio. If you take that out, I spent about 6 months working professionally in the Sandusky, Ohio area. And then the entire time I was there, I was just there wishing that place was like Pittsburgh, So
yeah.
I came back home. And then later on in life, I moved out to Oregon and lived in Corvallis, Oregon for about a year. And again, the entire time I was out there, I was just wishing that place was like Pittsburgh, which is why I kept coming back to Pittsburgh.
That makes sense.
But there is one thing that I can kind of combine from both of these places that I think would be cool if it was here in some form or fashion. And that is the water in those areas. I mean, obviously in the West Coast, like I lived where my apartment was. When I left my apartment complex, there was a sign that said like beach to the right. And like that blew my mind, that I could just like, there was a sign next to my residence telling me how to get to the ocean. That was crazy. So, having the ocean less than an hour away was awesome. And like, I don't know, Sandusky, Ohio kind of sucked, but like it was on Lake Erie, which, there was that whole Put-in-Bay connection in that
Right.
town, which was cool. And I went there a couple times, and it was obviously fun. Like in Pittsburgh, we have the three rivers, but it's like, it's not this. Rivers are so different than than lakes or an ocean. Like one of our favorite places to go is Deep Creek, a couple hours away, because it's a huge lake and it's got like all of the relaxed vibes that come with that. And like chilling on the Three Rivers is cool, but it's not necessarily the relaxing type of environment you get,
Right.
like you're like dodging barges and tree trunks and shit. It's just not, it's not quite the relaxing vibe. So that's the main thing I thought of, was just like, man, the beach was 50 minutes away when I was in Oregon. And I probably didn't take advantage of that as much as I should have, because I was wishing I was back home. But like,
Right.
man, do I wish I was that close to the ocean.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point. And yeah, we do have the Three Rivers here, but you're right. Rivers aren't an attractive body of water compared to lakes and oceans and things like that. And like rivers can be done well, but the rivers here, for anybody not really familiar, they're like they're almost dangerous, and they're like the water's really, really brown.
Really brown. It's like
Really brown.
dude, when I did the Pittsburgh Triathlon, I think it was in 2013. It was the first year that I moved back home from Oregon. And like every year after that 2013 triathlon, they had to like cut out the water portion of it, because the water tested so unbelievably dirty and unsafe that they couldn't let people swim in it. Like it's disgusting.
Jeez.
It's disgusting downtown.
Yeah, it is. And it's a shame because it feels like you could do some things that are like waterfront focused. I gotta give, Cleveland even has a river that runs through it, and there are parts of it that are kind of cool that are like waterfront. You've got some, bars, restaurants, clubs, and things like that along the waterfront that are cool. And we don't really have that here. And another part of the reason we don't have that here is because how much the water rises and falls.
Yeah, because they just like flood the city sometimes.
They could just like flood. Yeah, so they have to build like these. It's just like concrete walls.
Yeah,
keeping these rivers in, and the water moves fast a lot. Like
yeah,
fast.
Yeah,
like the wind hits it, and those things are just moving. Like there can be waves out there. They're just huge, very, very wide rivers too. Yeah, that's a shame, because it feels like there's an opportunity there. But they're like, all those things added up. It's like, what are you supposed to do? What are you gonna do? It's not clean, dirty, just constant runoff in the water, and just yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. For me, similar story. Living in Kent, Ohio for school, and then actually sticking around the very same city to work in for a couple of years afterwards, before I then moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Loved it there. Spent a little over a year there as well. And obviously the weather was better there, right? But I'm not just going to say weather. I wish the weather, obviously, no shit. But a result of there being nicer weather there is that they have more outdoor seating areas and like more rooftops, rooftop bars, rooftop restaurants. And that is one thing I wish we had more of here, because when a new place opens up that has a rooftop, it's like, good luck getting in, because there's only a handful of them. And some of them are just looking at other buildings downtown.
That's true.
In the middle of downtown, no view, no nothing. You're looking at the side of another building. Multiple rooftops are like that. And in Winston-Salem, and in most places in the South, like that's not the case. There's some sort of view somewhere to something. And we don't have that. We've got a city with incredible views, but nobody has been able to like really capture, aside from Mount Washington, which the whole thing's the view, but been able to capture And you can't have rooftops and outdoor seating all the time because the weather, we don't have as good of a weather period. It'd be half the year to be closed. So that's why. And that's why I wish there was just the ability to be on rooftops and more outdoor seating areas that are opened, basically year round, that type of thing. That's another thing that I wish was prevalent down there, and we don't have very much of up here.
That's definitely a good one. And I know exactly what you mean. Like, I've waited in pretty long lines to get up to a rooftop.
Yeah.
That was just like so packed you could barely move, and there was also nothing to look at. The one that sticks out is that meatball place,
Santa Marcato.
Yeah, Penn Avenue or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you go up there and you're just looking at the side of a hotel.
Yeah, right.
And you can, I mean, I suppose it's kind of cool because you can like look up and see other buildings, but like if that hotel wasn't there, you could see like PNC Park and Heinz Field, but it's there, so you can't.
You can't, right?
But yeah, rooftops would be sweet. But yeah, I guess that's the only problem is it's just so damn cold all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else that it's interesting the way that you worded it, where that's the whole reason you left those cities is because you were wishing they were more like Pittsburgh. So I'm sure it's harder to imagine what you would want from there here.
Unfortunately, otherwise, like, I don't know, Ohio's Ohio, and it's not that far away from Pittsburgh. So like culturally, geographically, it wasn't that different.
Right.
And interestingly enough, going out to Oregon, like in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we're surrounded by like mountains and wilderness and all the outdoorsy stuff. And like, that's what Oregon's all about, really, is, all that outdoorsy stuff. And like, I already had that here, so I'm not going to bring that back with me. So yeah, there's really not much else that sticks out. I mean, the beer out there was cool, but that's also the thing. Like, when I came back in 2013, you couldn't get a lot of those beers here, but now 10 years later, like the distribution of all those things, I can get a lot of the stuff that I had out there here in Pittsburgh, and it's not that big of a deal. Shout out Amazon. Let's go.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. That's a good point for sure. I've got just a few others. Chris, this one's a no-brainer for me. Bojangles. Simple as it gets. I could say food. I could just say the southern, food in the South is way better. Sorry, it is. The restaurants, independent restaurants, they're better. Bojangles, though. Give me Bojangles. I need that here. That's the one thing I want to be in Pittsburgh that I had down there in North Carolina.
And the closest one was in Beckley, West Virginia, and that closed, man.
And it closed.
So
devastating.
Why has nobody brought a franchise here? How difficult is it to do that?
It makes no sense to me. It's that good. It's that good, people. I don't know. And the commercials are here.
Yeah.
Right? We see the commercials all the time. We're an ACC country.
Yeah.
The commercials are here. People know it. Oh, Bojangles. I miss you. Architectural history is another thing that is very prevalent, not only where I lived, but like in the South generally. And there are those places in and around the city of Pittsburgh, but it's just not, they don't have like the charm, I guess, that they did down there. There's just something about really old historic buildings that have been maintained, by the way. That's a key part of it, maintaining them, that they don't look like decrepit pieces of garbage that are falling apart and you have to rebuild because you didn't take care of them. So architectural history is one. And then my last one, I think you could probably relate to this a little bit, Chris. More attractive accents.
Hey, what are you talking about, Dan?
Yeah, the Yinzer accent is just not the most attractive accent, and frankly, neither was what's going on in Ohio. Sorry, friends. God.
Yeah, don't get me started.
It's sorry, friends. It's not either. But it's both of us. Yinzer's not either.
Yeah.
But in the South, the Southern accent is a far more attractive accent than anything we have north of the Mason-Dixon line. Just that plain and simple. So that's something I also wish we had here. that was back in North Carolina.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Southern accents, I'm a fan. There are no Pacific Northwest accents, so I can't bring that with me, but I like yours.
Sure.
I'd like to bring yours with me.
Right.
Yeah.
That works. All right. Well, I as we're going through that topic, I realized I understand why Didi gave that to us while he wasn't here, because he literally wouldn't be able to provide an answer because he lives in the city that, like,
right.
He wouldn't take nothing. He's got everything he's wanted in Los Angeles. Maybe there is one thing. I kind of doubt it, though.
I know. I think we should put his feet to the fire. And next episode, we need to force him to tell us one thing that he would take from Wellsburg, West Virginia, to Los Angeles.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
I don't think he gets to choose his opening "Get It Off Your Chest" segment. That's what he has to do.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Stay tuned next week. We're doing that. I love that idea. All right. Well, let's move along down the menu here. We opened with tacos, and here's another taco topic for you, Chris. This was your brainchild, actually.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Like I was very passionate about it when I texted it to you guys, and I don't remember what was happening at that point in time. But the topic is pick 3 taco toppings and then get rid of one for quite literally the rest of your life. Okay, so we're making commitments here, both positive and negative. So the options: cheese, guac, black beans, hot sauce, salsa, peppers, onion, and tomatoes. Okay, you got to pick 3 of those, and then you also have to decide which one you are breaking up with forever. There's no makeup here. Okay, you're not gonna break up and then make up later on. That's not how this works.
Right. No going back. This is off the table permanently.
Correct.
Now this is like we haven't done a you pick 2 in a while, and a you pick 2. I feel like that's like from a fast food. It's
isn't that like a value menu or something? You pick 2.
I'm gonna do the you pick 2. Can I get a Whopper, Junior Whopper? Or Panera or something. It's just a pick 2. We've done the pick 2s in the past, but this is different because it's a 3 minus 1 though. Yeah. You pick 3 and then minus 1.
And to be clear, these are toppings, right? So you're already guaranteed your protein, rice, like we're talking about what you're putting on top of that.
Yes. Okay. I'll start with the 3 that I'm picking.
Okay.
And then I'll let you go, and then we can talk about what we're removing for life. The 3 I'm picking are cheese, guac, and salsa. Those got to be my go-to. Cheese, I will almost never not pick cheese for anything. Period. It's there. It's happening. It's always cheese. Guac's extra, so I'm taking it because there's value in guac. I love guacamole. I love avocados. Good point. Also on everything, amazing. And salsa, I feel like you've got some of these things in salsa, whether that's onions, tomatoes, hot sauce. There's kind of a little bit of a potpourri, if you will, or pico de gallo, right? But salsa, I gotta get. It's just that little extra on top that I need, and that's how I got to my 3.
I like that. I'm taking salsa as well, because it's like when I look at salsa, but then there's also hot sauce here and some of the other items. Like salsa is going to give a ton of flavor across the taco. So I'm picking salsa. I'm with you, man. Cheese is always the answer. So we're going cheese. And then I think I'm going to go black beans. I'm a big fan of black beans, man. You want to get you a little bit of fiber, a little bit of extra protein in there. I really like the texture of black beans. I understand some people do not.
It's an odd thing to say.
Yeah. It's like, that's a banana I could tolerate. Well, these are some black beans. Okay. That's what I'm going to toss on there. So yeah, cheese, black beans, and salsa are the 3 I'm choosing. And then I'll go right into who I'm kicking off Love Island here, Dan.
Rip off the Band-Aid. Tell them they're gone.
Onion, you're gone. Goodbye. Good day, sir. I don't like onion in any situation though. Like I just hate onion.
Ooh. No situation.
Yeah, I don't like the taste of it. It doesn't always agree with the tum tum. It's just like it's not good for my life. You know, we tried it out. It didn't work, Dan. It didn't work, so we have to break up.
Let me ask you this: difference for you between a cooked onion and a raw onion? Any difference there?
No, honestly.
Hmm.
Well, in terms of taste, yeah, I guess in terms of taste, I think a cooked onion is probably a little more palatable for me. But at the end of the day, I still just don't enjoy it. If you get rid of that, it doesn't take away any enjoyment for me. And that's basically like looking at all these other options. That's the one I can get rid of and say like it's not gonna take anything away.
I think the onion was put on this earth to be cooked. One way, shape, or form. I do. I think people that get sandwiches and get those big onion circles, red or white, and just crunch right into them raw are psychopaths.
I think it's disgusting.
It's absolutely, it's absolutely disgusting. Like they're not meant to be on this earth that way.
That's right. If we're sitting at the same table and you do that, I'm moving to a different table. Like it's
just, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. So I get you. I get you with onion. It was a consideration for me. This might go against the grain a little bit, if you will. And I think particularly with you, it will. Chris, I don't need hot sauce. I don't need hot sauce. I've never been a huge hot sauce guy. I like a little bit of spice in my life. Okay. But there's a level I'm just like right at like bitch right there where I can't handle only so much. And so I don't need that little bit of extra. I know I'm in the minority there, but if I'm, especially in this situation where I have salsa and maybe the salsa is hot or mild, like that's enough.
Yeah.
That I can do. I don't need the hot sauce. I want the protein to be singing me the chorus, right? I want that to be really giving it to me. If it's a good taco, that's what it's doing, right? I don't need something to just completely take over a portion of my taste buds. Be like, yo, hot sauce up in here. That's not what I want to hear. So that's why I got to take out hot sauce.
That's fair enough. I think if the place is good enough at making tacos, there will be enough seasoning on that protein that hot sauce is kind of inconsequential.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said.
Fair enough.
Well said. Okay. Interesting little topic here.
Yeah.
I'm curious what everybody else. If you please tweet us, Facebook comment, wherever you're seeing it at Brunch Breakdown. Let us know what are your 3 toppings and what are you getting rid of?
Yeah,
in that list.
That's the big one.
That makes it a lot more difficult than the you pick 2.
And I'll let you know if I ever remember why the hell I wanted to do this topic, but I'm glad we did.
Because everyone's the Brunch Breakdown text message chain is a fascinating one. Topics coming in and out of everywhere, and usually it's followed up with like there's context behind this, but I'll tell you before the episode or after the episode. This one was done a while ago, and you just don't remember.
Yeah, none of it. But that's okay. We'll leave it to the mystery is a good thing. Sometimes.
Exactly. We love it. Well, Chris, before we get into music, let's get into Brunch Court. We got a couple of items up for bid here. Let's start with there's a new seasoning blend out. So let's pull that picture up. So this is Girl Scouts Thin Mints seasoning blend. And I believe this is out now. And I think it was seen by somebody at Target. So it should be pretty widespread available. And again, if you're listening, you're in the car, wherever you are, we've got the photos up for the visuals. Get to your phone, get to your computer later, YouTube, Facebook, check these things out for Brunch Court. So Girl Scouts Thin Mint Seasoning Blend. This is obviously a dry seasoning blend of chocolate and mint. Chris, we're in Girl Scout cookie season. Thin Mint one of, if not the most popular cookie of the Girl Scout family. Your thoughts on Thin Mints and the Thin Mint seasoning blend?
Yeah, we had a big box of Girl Scout cookies just show up about a week ago, Dan.
Ooh,
this is perfectly timed. I do love Thin Mints. You know, when I saw this, because like, okay, if you're listening, Dan always has all these photos, and Dee Dee and I don't ever know what we're actually going to be reviewing in Brunch Court until right before the episode starts. So I've had almost no time to process this. And my thought,
which is why we do it that way.
yeah, exactly. It's organic. It's good. Part of what I was wondering is like, what is this for? What are you going to put it on? But then I see, let me see if I can zoom in here. It says great for baking, ice cream, and more. And when I saw that, Dan, then I thought to myself, you know what? Yeah, okay. I could sprinkle this on some ice cream and have a good old time with it. The only thing is, I just, in my life, I don't know how often I would use it, but I think, I think for things like that, sure, it would probably taste great.
It's really interesting the way you brought that up, because I didn't put enough thought into it either. Like, what would this be for? And I'm sitting here looking at it now going, ice cream was actually the first thing that came to my mind. And I thought, what else besides ice cream? And so they didn't get super descriptive. They used baking.
Yeah. Did you put it in like a cake batter? Probably.
But like, then all of a sudden, like
cookies,
like brownies.
But that'd be funny if you made it, put it in with cookies, and it's a cookie. Just buy the cookie.
Just buy the cookie. Right.
Brownies would be good.
Brownies, you know, especially around the holidays, mint becomes popular around the holidays, popular flavor, or maybe even just as you blend it in with some icing or something for something on top, an accoutrement. I don't know. I'm a little bit more convinced now that the baking idea has opened up, because it was really a struggle besides ice cream. Where else is this going? Thin Mints are great, man. I'm a big fan of Thin Mints. So yeah, you're right. You probably buy a bottle of this. It probably lasts a lifetime. Unless if you're baking, you need to go quarter cup, something like that. But sure, give it to me. Bring it on. Chocolate and mint live together in a happy world. And I am pleased to be a part of that world and give it to us in a seasoning blend. Approved and here to stay.
Why not? You know, why not? It's and it'll also be added to that like spice and seasoning cabinet. And maybe you'll get a different addition to that aroma that I oh so love.
Back to that former topic from weeks ago.
That's
yes.
Right.
The smells draft.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. I love it. Okay, next up, there's a pretty unique cereal being introduced into the world, and it's out now, actually. Okay, maybe I should use the word cereal in quotations if you're just listening. This is from the Belgian Boys company, okay? This is out now at Target, and ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have the visual in front of you, what we are seeing, what we are going to explain to you is pancake cereal, the virtual trend brought to life. So, yes, these are literal, maybe a little bit smaller than a quarter, nickel to quarter size pancakes in a bowl of cereal. And this isn't, I want to be descriptive as we can here. These aren't in the shape of pancakes, right? These are literal mini pancakes that you're supposed to have as cereal, because they are in the refrigerator section to stay fresh. So this isn't pancake tasting cereal that's like crunchy. This is soft mini pancakes. They come refrigerated, and you're supposed to put them in a bowl, as the photo looks here, in a bowl of milk, I guess, and eat them that way. There also kind of looks like there could be syrup on it. I don't really know what's going on here. Chris, a lot of words going through your mind. I can see that. I just give them to me. What are you thinking here?
Well, first and foremost, as always, you got to clear the air. Is that your hand?
I love that you always ask that question. And this probably looks like it could be my hand.
Dude, this is your
more
hand
than
twin.
more than any hand that we've shown on Brunch Court. This looks like it could be the one. It's not. It's
Wow.
not. This one is actually not my hand. But...
All right. Well, if you're listening and not watching and you want to know what Dan's thumb looks like, you can find
pretty
it
close.
Whatever. I don't know. We're like 56 minutes into the episode. So I'm glad you described all that, because originally I was like, sure. And now I'm like, nah. I think so. Like, we actually, for our girls, we have these frozen mini pancakes that, you know, we don't put them in milk. We microwave them up in the morning because they're super easy, and the girls like them. And these in this cereal are probably smaller than those ones that we make for the girls. But like, I can't imagine, because like when those get up to temperature, they're like floppy, you know, they're like, and then if you put them in milk, it would be soggy.
Yeah.
And like gross. I don't, unless there's something we're missing here, and something about them and how they don't get that way. I just don't see how this is appetizing unless you wolf it down in like 60 seconds before they get soggy.
That's what's so confusing. I'm actually looking it up here now. So I guess this is, it says it's a viral trend. I guess this is real, that this went viral on TikTok, I guess.
Well, that doesn't, everything goes viral on TikTok. Doesn't mean you need to do it, like make it a real thing.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so here we go. So it is only at Target. They claim milk is optional. You are supposed to heat them up, because remember we talked about it. It's a refrigerated section because they have to keep fresh. So milk optional. They show a variety of ways it's served. You can put syrup and berries over it. You can put Nutella and cream. You could do milk if you want. I don't know. I I might have to just try them to really give a good judgment. Because you're right, with milk, this kind of makes no sense. The picture shows it, but they're claiming that's really not the only way to eat them, and then they're just mini pancakes. And it seems like I don't know. I'm a little wishy-washy on this one.
Yeah, I'm saying no.
Okay. Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you to that. Last but not least, this one is specifically for you, Chris. This has been out for a little while now. We haven't done Brunch Court in a couple of weeks, and we've seen the commercials. It's been out for a little while. This is Fast Twitch, the energy drink from Gatorade. Okay, it's a sugar-free Gatorade with 200 milligrams of caffeine per 12-ounce bottle. Chris, I bring this to you because you're in the health industry, and I know you love yourself some coffee, and makes me think that you're a fan of caffeine. And this is also a hydrating beverage that isn't packed full of sugar. And again, it's got quite a bit of caffeine. So Fast Twitch energy drink, Gatorade, Chris Gates Fitness, your official review.
200 milligrams is a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a lot. Like, for those listening, if you want some context, like the average cup of coffee that you would make at home is like 75 milligrams. So this is 3 times that. I actually do a pre-workout supplement before I lift weights, and I do that at like 160 milligrams of caffeine. So this is even more than that. Boy, oh boy. So no, I think this is bad. This is like, there's just like, I don't know, Dan, maybe it's because I'm like, I got kids now and I'm noticing this stuff more, but like we did not have this much caffeine marketed to us as kids.
True.
It's not a good thing. Like, The only energy drink I remember when we were kids was Red Bull, but like you never could find that anywhere. Like I never knew where you would actually get Red Bull, and like now they're marketing caffeine powder pre-workout stuff for like kids to have before they play video games and shit. Like there's just way too much, just way too much. So anyway, no, I think this is stupid.
I agree. And even like Starbucks has really, dressed things up in terms of like coffee and caffeine. Right now, it's just a sugary milkshake with, caffeine in it, and kids are drinking it, and it's crazy. Yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot of caffeine. I feel like, I guess they tried it out on NFL players last season before they made it available to the public. I think that caffeine level just needs to come down a little bit. Like, I like the concept of sugar-free, hydrating. This is like the Borg. This is like the healthy version of the Borg that we went over a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
where you're hydrating yourself, but at the same time, this one, we're just talking caffeine. And again, I like that idea of it, especially there are people out there that don't like coffee, which I feel bad for you because it's wonderful. But a healthier way to get it in a way that, there are people that struggle with working out first thing in the morning. I can't do it. I want to be able to do that for time and like scheduling purposes. I can't. I got to be awake, man. And like, I could see this being an alternative, because I'm not going to wake up, have coffee, and then go work out. I would die. Right. There's got to be a lot of hydration in between all those steps. And I feel like this could do it. I hate the name Fast Twitch. I feel like it's a really, really, really bad name. But overall, it's just too much caffeine.
So yeah, it's going to make people twitchy. And I think they're trying to play off of like how you have different muscle fibers and some of them are fast twitch and like, let's get moving. But like, I'm looking at it's for a 12 pack of 12-ounce bottles. It's like $20 to $25.
Whoa.
For 12. Wow. I get a pre-workout supplement that has 35 servings of it for $30. Like, this is not even the most cost-efficient way to get this. So I think you're a fool if you buy this.
Interesting.
So the answer is no.
The answer is no. There you go. Officially from Chris Gates Fitness. You have the official review.
Yeah. So now if you drink it, I will come and I will find you.
Well, that was Brunch Court. A very fascinating episode of that this week. So let's finish up, as we always do, with what we are listening to. Chris, what has been on your playlist this week?
Yeah, man. So this band Highwire is going to be first up for me. They put out a EP called Find Me Here Part 2, which is, get this, Dan, the follow-up to Find Me Here Part 1.
Oh, clever.
So I like how they did that. But they're a very, 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 very energetic brand of pop punk. And I thought of you, Dan, when I was looking up music to feature this week, because they are originally from Iowa. And I know that Iowa has a soft spot in your heart. So we're going to feature Highwire here this week on the Sounds of Brunch.
I love that. I do love me some Iowa. I love that a lot. First up for me is going to be Macklemore. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Macklemore is back. Brand new album dropped last week, titled Ben. And people are saying he's back. I haven't really made it all the way through the album yet, so but I've been hearing some positive things. The song I'm going to put on is No Bad Days, featuring Colette. And it's like catchy Macklemore again, like stuff. Yeah. Like really good. This song especially. So, I encourage you to check out the album. I'm going to continue to do the same, but at least start with No Bad Days. Macklemore back, baby, back.
I was wondering about him, 'cause I think I saw he was on like Ellen or something like that, talking about like the first wave of his career and how famous he was. And like, kind of, I feel like it's like the career arc of somebody that gets that famous, where like, they get super famous, then they fall off, and then they come back and you hear about how they were like strung out on drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. But now they're back and in a better place and putting music out again. So
for sure.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
My second song is from this guy, Arizona Zervis. I've put him on the playlist before. I don't know where the hell I ever discovered his music, but every time he comes out with a new song, it's unbelievably catchy. He has this new song that he put out, Big Bucks, and it samples Throw Some D's from Rich Boy.
No.
It's just like in the background throughout the song, occasionally you hear some Throw Some D's on it. And like the minute I heard it, I lost my mind. So I want to put that this song on the playlist and Throw Some D's from Rich Boy. We got to put that on there.
I love that. I can't wait to hear that. That's amazing.
That's so random, but amazing. It's catchy.
That's great. Next one for me is from Beach Weather. Their album also came out this past week called Pineapple Sunrise. And I'm going to put the song by that very same name, Pineapple Sunrise, on the playlist this week. And it's got, it speaks for itself, like major Cali sunny vibes from this kind of alt pop group. And I put a few of their songs on the playlist, a couple of their singles leading up to this album. It's been a couple of months since I put them on, and now the album's out. It's really good. It's a really good album, Pineapple Sunrise, and we'll start with that track by Beach Weather.
That sounds like if Didi were to brew his own beer. That's what it would be called.
Spot on.
Nice. All right. My last one is from this band called Brooklane. They put out a song with somebody named Jessie Page. I don't know who she is, but it's a great song. The song is called Love Is Bullshit. And it doesn't like resonate with me in any way, but it kind of does because Dan, you and I both remember those emo days from the early aughts, and it just hit. I was like, oh yeah, I was in that place once. Okay. Yeah. So why not? We'll throw it on. If you're looking to get a little rage out over the next week, that song will be good for you.
I like that. Emo making a little bit of a comeback in the music scene right now, and I dig that. I dig that a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily one to tend to go in the throwback direction on what we're listening to. But it's just you and me. It's just you and me, Dan. So
just
us. And I mentioned that I was at a beer festival this past weekend, and that night ended with a little karaoke sesh. And it was a great day. Let me tell you, folks, that's how you end a day with a beer fest, is a little karaoke sesh. And a song that came up that I sang and rediscovered on the karaoke machine itself was by the very, very popular group S Club 7 and Never Had a Dream Come True. That song is so good. It's so good. It's still that good. It's going on the playlist. Just soak it in, enjoy it. Maybe I'll throw S Club on there too. S Club Party. Like, that's also a jam. It's the other end of the spectrum, but S Club 7, where are you at? Miss you, kids.
Why not?
Yeah.
I love it.
And that's what we're listening to this week. And that's this episode of the Brunch Breakdown. I'll ask the same thing Didi does at the end of every episode. Chris, any final thoughts?
Let's just find more ways to fit kiwi into your beers out there, to the brewing community. Just a suggestion.
I like that. And I'll ask you one quick question to close. It's fish fry season. It's amazing. I love it. Welcome back. Your answer quickly. How do you prefer your fish? With fish and chips, fish tacos, or the fish sando?
Tacos if they have them. Otherwise, I'm going sando. I feel like not everybody has tacos.
That's a good answer.
I mean, how could you round out this episode with anything other than tacos, Dan?
You're right. I have to say tacos. And with that, we're out.